Hello, hello, guys. We are on the Exotic Car Hacks Ask Me Anything. Little conversation there. I see some of you already on. Go ahead, guys, introduce yourselves. Let me know who's in the room. Let me know where you're from. We're going to start in a moment. I'm just getting all my stuff done here. I have a lot of screens up and stuff. Let me close them out, and we'll be able to get started. If you see the little chat box, chat should be enabled so you can ask your questions. And then you can go ahead and let me know who's here, who's in the room, where you guys are from, names. You have a little chat box on the side. I don't know if you see it. There you go. We have Haresh on. Rashid from New York. Awesome. Come on, keep it going, guys. I need to know where you guys are from so I can kind of cater these questions to kind of understanding who I'm talking to. It's okay if you're members of Exotic Car Hacks already. If you have additional questions, it's okay if you're not. So this is your Ask Me Anything webinar. I'm not really going to do a presentation, so we're just going to have conversation, and that's really it. And then after the hour, we get done, and I get to go do other stuff. So let's have cool conversations. I'm going to kind of briefly give an overview for about 5 minutes about what Exotic Car Hacks is, for those of you who may not know, while you guys continue to introduce yourselves. I love seeing South Florida members. It's a great state to do this in, so I'm glad you guys are joining us as well. But really briefly, my name is Pejman Gadimi. I am the creator of the Exotic Car Hacks program. I am previously known for many other things online, such as Secret Entourage, as well as previously acted as the CEO of my own company, which was VIP Motoring, which was a very large concierge service. And I since then still own that company, but no longer run as its CEO, and have decided to use a lot of the data we generated in that company true since 2005, helping people come together with investing in exotic cars into this program that helps teach people a little bit more about how to leverage exotic cars to drive for 6 months to a year without taking a loss or making a profit. Now, the Exotic Car Hacks course is quite simple. It's an entire comprehensive platform that pretty much is geared towards people who either own an exotic car, want to own an exotic car, or want to be in the exotic car game. And I say this because, we built this platform specifically to support that type of individual. So if you love exotic cars, you want to learn about exotic cars, you want to be in the exotic car game, and not necessarily like you're ready to buy, but you want to do your research, you want to understand which models to buy, depreciation schedules, what's the right thing to do, and so on and so forth, or even have access to resources and other people who own exotic cars from an ownership standpoint. This is not a group where we have meetups and we drive cars around together. While we could do that, it's kind of cool. We might do that eventually. But for now, the main idea of the group is to help be a platform and resources to one another, to helping each other save money and make money on exotic cars rather than losing our ass car after car. I've done this with well over 70 cars now, everything from a 911 Turbo up to an SL65 Black Series, all the Aston Martins, the Lamborghinis, the Ferraris. And all I can tell you is that the same principles apply to all cars. It's a little bit different car to car. So now, if you are attending this little AMA at any time during this presentation, you can use your little chat box and ask me questions. You can go ahead and start putting your questions in now if you'd like. I will get to them in the order they were asked, so go ahead and ask. You can ask more than one question or as many questions as you want. I will get to them as people are asking them. We try to keep these groups more intimate. That means we don't actually broadcast this for years beforehand trying to get a lot of people, because I want to be able to answer your questions. So what I am telling you now is that, I am all for answering any type of questions you have related to the car scene or the course. The other thing I will ask is that during this, remember that you're able at any time to go to the Exotic Car Hacks website and get a special offer and coupon, as you saw on your screen earlier, for the course for $100 off if you're ready to get into an exotic. So now I'm going to start just answering questions. Like I said, this is not a pitch. So go ahead and ask all your questions in the chat box, and I will get to them in order that they were asked. If you don't have questions, then this ends a lot faster. This is not a presentation by any means. It is simply a Q&A answering your questions. So anything you need to know, just right there and ask away. I'm glad to see we have quite a few people from different parts. So let's start. Dustin asks, what is the best car for flipping at a profit under 60K? I know most profit is in the more expensive car, but are they any cheaper? So first off, we have to understand that in order for making a profit on a car, we have to understand margins. On cheaper cars, the margins are smaller, meaning if you're dealing with a very cheap car, such as a 60K car, you're going to have a 6 to 8K margin at the most. That's very little margin to combat the depreciation that a car goes through a year. So if you have a normal depreciation schedule that's like somewhere around 10K a year on a luxury car, and you're combating at an 8K margin, you're probably going to lose the battle. So I typically say the mid-level cars, unless you're stealing them from people, meaning really dirt cheap, it's going to be very hard to flip a profit. Now, it doesn't mean you can't get into the Range Rovers, the older G-Wagons, or some of these cars and drive them for free, but it becomes much harder to flip a profit. Some great cars under the 60K mark, the M3, the M4, a lot of the M5s, a lot of the M6s. You can do this with a lot of Range Rovers. You can do this with G55s. There's a lot of cars in that range that could qualify as cars you could drive for free. Very few that will be able to get into a profit unless, again, you buy them right and move them fast enough. I personally like the Maserati Quattroportes, the older ones that are in the 30, 40K range, as one of the better cars to try to flip and get in and out of. Now, Martin asks, how do you sell your car while you're financing it? Well, very simple. I mean, you have a lien on a car. It does not prevent you from selling it. Whatever the lien is for, you have to make sure you sell it for more than that, or that you're willing to pay off the difference at the time of the sale. If you're selling a car for less than what you owe on it, you're going to donate money in addition to what the buyer's paying you at the time. You can't carry that on if the car is sold. Now, you also have to consider that most people who finance a car, their bank will work with your bank. There's nothing that's difficult about this. Most people buying from you directly, you'll have to be very transparent about who you are, where you live, pictures of your ID, having like your Facebook connected, just showing someone you're real and you're not out there to take them for a scam. If you can show them things like your registration, your ID and everything, there's no reason why they won't do business with you. I've had plenty of cars financed that I've sold all the way up to 350 grand, and there's no reason why a car that's financed cannot be sold. You can also use a dealer as an alternative middle ground. If you have a local dealer that's willing to do the transaction for you, guy pays the dealer, you sell your car to the dealer, he just handles the transaction for a fee. That's also something you can do, but you don't have to. I haven't done that necessarily with all cars, but you can do that. If you're in Florida, there's actually a tax loophole when you do that too. That's very helpful. Haresh asked, I have a 2015 911 Carrera. I want to trade it in to get something else. What do you suggest? That's a very broad question, Haresh. I mean, if you want to list some of the cars you want to get, I'm glad to tell you if they're good buys or not, but that's too broad a question to answer. I'm not you, so I don't know what you like. Mavs asked, hi, do you recommend buying the 2014 Maserati Quattroporte GTS fully loaded? To be clear, I don't recommend buying any Maserati Ghibli or Quattroporte that is any Ghibli. I don't give a fuck what year it is. Any Quattroporte that is 2014 and up is a piece of shit built by Chrysler. It's filled with issues. It's filled with garbage. It's going to constantly break down, and they're just terrible cars. They're cool looking. They drive well, but genuinely, man, the material, the craftsmanship, and the quality is complete shit. You're going to spend so much time at the shop, and the Ghibli, let's not even get started. If you're not buying a Gran Turismo GT, the only Quattroporte I would buy is the 2011 to 2013. If not, I would buy 09 GTS or 10 GTS, but that's about it. I would really focus on if you can find 11, 12, or 13 GTS, good for you. If you can't, I would just buy 11, 12, or 13 super loaded S series, and I'd pay roughly under 40 grand, and I'd enjoy that car because I think it's one of the best Quattroportes. It's actually the last Quattroporte made by Ferrari too, before they went over to Chrysler for that car. Do you recommend a Cayman S 2006 in manual? Not really. I think the Cayman S is a piece of shit too. But if we're looking at cheaper cars, if we're looking at cars that are affordable, and that's what you're asking me on that perspective, I think it is usable for the system. I think it's going to be one of those cars you really have to buy low. I think it is a good car to resell, so I don't think it's a bad car to drive for free. I don't see a lot of margin for profit in that, but I think it's a good car if you're starting up from the ground up. So let me not, keep you from buying one with my comment. I'm just saying from a profit standpoint, I don't think it's there. Ripon asks, looking for a 2013 Maserati GTS. Now, since the warranty is coming to an end this year, should we wait a couple of months for the warranty to expire and then the price will go down? How much do you reckon will price to go down? Well, not really. You should negotiate the car more so knowing the car will be out of warranty in a few months, but using that to leverage the price down because the dealer knows that too. You should also buy it under warranty, so if there's something immediately wrong with it, you can fix it in a few months without having to go through a lot of headaches, etc. And I do recommend you drive the shit out of it before the warranty runs out to see if anything comes up or not. So I would look at it that way. But I think if there's less than 6 months left on a warranty, you can absolutely leverage that against the dealer to get your money down. Frederick asked, you previously recommended me the DB9. No, I never recommended you the DB9. I never would recommend the DB9. And then the R8 V10, I did recommend the R8 V10 and also said the 2015 Vantage V12S was okay. Yes, I believe that too. What price should I acquire the Vantage V12S? I have access to mine, and also how long should I consider? Should I wait to consider the GTS? So I think the AMG GTS can already be bought in the high 90s, low hundreds. I think that's a great car. I'd actually buy that car over all the other cars you mentioned. The R8 V10 is, I think, a great car to buy. It's great entry-level exotic. The Vantage V12 is still taking depreciation, but if you can find one cheap enough, I think that's the way to go. I think if you can find a 2011 or 12 Vantage V12 6-speed, I think you're better off with that or a DBS if you're looking to hold a long time without losing any money. I think that's where it is. And guys, remember, there's a link on top of your screen. If you want to join us at Exotic Car Hacks, during this AMA only, we don't really discount the Exotic Car Hacks platform anymore now that there's so much value there. So use AMA 100 for $100 off. Next question, Leon asks, should we look at exotic cars that's been in a dealership inventory the longest? Yes, you should always look for cars that have sat for 60 to 90 days so that you can completely kill the dealer margin and pretty much take the car as close to wholesale as you can. How do we protect our profits from taxes? You don't. Your car is your personal car. If you're doing this a lot of times, it may add up on you and you may have to do so. I do recommend opening a corporation and running your cars through there if you can. You have to talk to your accountant about that. If you're only doing with 1 to 2 cars, I don't see a reason to list your taxes. You made some money, recycle it, and use it on your next car. Christian asks, would a 2015 Golf R be something you could negotiate down on price, or is it still new? You can negotiate everything down on price. I just bought a new NSX and negotiated $30K off sticker, and there's not a single freaking guy on eBay selling their NSX for anything less than sticker or $5K off. So, you know, is it possible? Of course, especially with the crappy cars like the low entry level, high volume cars like Golfs and everything. I know people think the Golf R is unique. It's really not. Anything that's on the lot is not unique. Even the new NSX is not unique. I don't care. They have one. They don't let you test drive it. It's still complete shit. So sorry, I'm not trying to come across as an asshole. I'm just telling you that you can negotiate way down into any single car. You have to understand that most cars, especially Volkswagens, have about an 18% front end margin. And on the back end, they have another 10% money in-house. So that means you have about a 28% margin that the dealer is on a car that's left over would gladly get the piece of shit off their lot and get you a deal so you can have the car you want. I would also, that's assuming it's new, but you can probably find a 2015 used out there for good money as well. Dustin asks, what is the target value in a GTR? We just bought a 2014 GTR right at 70. It was a track edition, completely custom, like completely stock with very high options. We paid about 70K for that car. I mean, listen, the GTRs are good cars. They hold really well. They're really, really good cars to use for the system. You just have to find the right one. There's just a lot of different editions. I prefer the 2013 Black Edition. I also prefer the stock cars over modified cars, but properly modified cars with wheels and suspension do really well in resale as well. Ruben asks, I'm leasing a 2016 Jeep SRT for $790 per month. Can I still buy an exotic car? Yes, get rid of the lease before you lose so much money on it. But for $800 a month, you could be in an Audi R8. So I don't think you should be in a Jeep SRT. That was a mistake. If you can get out of it, go to swaplease.com, list your shit, have someone buy, give them an incentive to buy, and then get into a better car. I've done that for 2 other guys recently, put them in a Range Rover and a 911. It was better than his 5 Series lease altogether. So Horn asks, are the 2010 BMW M6 worth buying or go for the new 2013? I think the 2010 is actually a better car than the 2013 and much better value. I think if you can find the cheap enough 2012, 2013 in the high 30 range, I still think that's a lot of car for the money too. So it all depends on the deal, man. I don't think one car is better than another. Personally, I'm biased towards the older M6. I had one and I like it. I don't think the new M6 is bad, but I think there's a lot of volume on the market, making it much harder to resell. Mauricio asks, I'm in the market for Vantage V8 07, 09, and I have seen a few that are wrapped. Should I worry about buying wrapped cars? Yes. You should typically not be buying a wrapped cars because you can't really tell the condition of the paint under or something that's happened to it. If you can inspect it in person and you can see pictures before and after and you feel comfortable, that's up to you. I would personally stick to cars that have not been wrapped or require that the guy removes the wrap if you negotiated a price so that you can at least inspect the panels and make sure that the paint is in great condition under. Mavs asks, what price is a great price for 2014 QP GTS fully loaded for around 20K miles? Thanks for taking the question. So I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not Manheim, so I don't have that information. But the 2014s that I've seen earlier, we're selling all of them in the 40s, lower 40s to mid 40s. So I don't see a reason why this car would be any more. And I'm not a buyer into the GTS 2014s and up. As I said earlier, I think they're complete pieces of shit built by Chrysler. Do you anticipate a drop in the prices of the Porsche GT3 and GT3 RS now that a new model is coming out? Porsches do something really unique, especially the GT series. They hold really well. Now, I can already buy GT3 RSs like 5K under sticker. So the GT3 RS used to be 50K over sticker. So this is one of the things I teach in my course, is the importance of understanding the difference between asking and selling prices and how to dictate what something is really selling for, not what they're asking for. So I think that the GT3 RS and the GT3 are cars that have already come down significantly just because there's more of them on the market and they're not moving. And I think as a result of that, I don't think it's the new car really that's pushing them down, but rather that they were high, they're stabilizing before they go back up. So I think both of those cars are fantastic buys. I don't see you losing good money if you buy them right, but remember the margins are great on those cars, so don't fall for them. Terrence, is it worth buying a 996 twin turbo S in a cab? Yes, great car as long as you buy 6-speed. Turbo S cabs, I had one. I loved it. It was an 04, actually, X50 car. Loved that car to death. It was a 6-speed, great, fantastic car. Dustin, 997 turbo or GTR? For resale or for enjoyment, 997 turbo. Make sure if you get a 997.2, it's PDK. And if you get the older 997, make sure it's a 6-speed. How long it takes from start to buy with bad credit or little to no money down. It depends on what you're trying to buy. You can do so. There's ways we teach you in the course on how to fix your credit so you can move up to better credit. I would not get into this game if you plan to keep your bad credit or have no money at all to play. What to do if you're a younger guy and the dealers won't take you seriously? Grow some confidence and learn to behave better. I've put a video on YouTube explaining a point of view style of going and buying a car. You should watch that. I've shown how an 18-year-old should behave in a dealership, like my videographer was that day. So I urge you to watch that video. It's called the Step-by-Step Buying Guide for an Exotic Point of View Style. Hopefully that should help a little bit. Ripon says, you mentioned somewhere that some cars are dropping prices this year. Which models and cars are going to drop the most this year? The Gran Turismo, Aston Martins. Every car is always dropping every year for the most part. I think the only thing, I mean, some cars are heavier hits this year than others. Some of the cars, the GTR, we haven't seen the impact of that, but I expect that to come down. The R8 has already taken a significant hit because of the new R8. We're going to see the Huracans drop. We're going to see the McLaren 650S drop. And the Gallardos are going to take a little bit of a drop this year. I expect that to happen in the Ferrari Italias too. Not as much though on the Ferrari side, but still some drop. Is it an absolute must to get a Lamborghini Gallardo 0610 in a manual instead of an automatic? First off, if you can find an 0910 manual Gallardo, please let me know. I'll gladly buy it. And if you are talking about an 06 to the first gen, which is the 04 to 08, yeah, those needs to be manual. The 0910, no, they're fine in the E-Gear. They do really well, actually, in E-Gear, and you can get a good deal, and they drive well. Ryan said, I was at Ferrari Newport Beach yesterday. I know those guys, actually, really nice guys. Being young, it's hard to get respect when talking business and finance with salespeople. What can I say to get some respect in an exotic dealership? Bring $250K in cash? No. Dress well, be educated about the market, and ask the right questions. Asking the right questions about finance, having discussions about what you can or can't afford, and talking about putting a credit app to show you're serious about buying a car will certainly change the nuance of how people talk to you. Frederick says, I was glad you said MGGTs it was okay to consider. Do you think it'll continue to depreciate drastically? I don't think anything on the MGGT side will depreciate drastically in 12 months, but they will come down a little bit. I expect that market to follow the i8 market a lot. However, I mean, they've been holding very strong compared to what we expected. So I don't see them going lower than 85, 90K. If you want to pay to play or take a chance, I don't think you have much to lose if you buy it right. Ripon asks, for someone who has a budget of $700-800 per month, what sort of exotic car would you get? I would get an Aston Vantage, or I would get an Audi R8, one of the older ones. The Maserati GTS, also a good buy if you can afford a 13. If not, I would stay away. I would not buy a Bentley because that's going to be a cheaper Bentley and you're going to eat it in repair costs. And guys, there's the link in the chat box for those of you that were for that guy that was asking about how to be taken seriously in the dealership. That has some good hints there that may be useful for you. More than 1,000 or less per month with 50K down, I'm able to find a 2017 R8 V10 on the market for this pricing. Well, put it this way, I can buy a new R8 V10 for 30K on their sticker. So that's roughly on a 170K car, that's like 150 each. You know, assume option, so 180. Most of them sticker 180, 185. The V10 plus 210, so you take 30K off of that. If you put 50K down, you're looking at 130K roughly finance, or 100K if you're on the normal non-V10 plus. That would equal to roughly 100,000 over 84 months. You'd be looking somewhere around 1,200-1,300 per month. So Ryan, I don't think you're far. I also don't think that's the right car to buy. I think you're going to eat your ass on that car in the next year. I think you should look at a 2014 V10 Plus. If you like the new styling, wait a little bit. Maybe get a transition car like a Gallardo LP560. It's going to be a lot cheaper than 1,000 a month with 50K down, and I think that's going to be a better starter car. Let's see. How do you afford a 2K month payment starting out? Well, you work harder. I mean, I don't know. That depends on you, right? That depends on what you're doing for work, and it depends on how comfortable you are paying that. I can't really answer that question. I mean, this is a business question more than it's a car question. Richard, is there any way to learn all the details on the pre-form that dealerships try to ask to pay extra? I mean, is there a standard price on each item on the pre-form? So yeah, we actually break down the forms in the course to teach you the difference between, you know, what you should or shouldn't pay, what is a reasonable dealer fee or not. But for the most part, I mean, most dealers today, especially boutique dealers, don't try to hog you with fees, and it's pretty clear when they're trying to. So I don't think it's going to be very hard in order to do that. So what's the best way to insure cars, Rip and ask? You mentioned you were paying 700 something for Lambo for 6 months. Yes, there's a few places I list in the course for people to insure cars. I'll share one of them with you. If you use State Farm, it's actually one of the best insurer for exotic cars on the market if you have a good driving record. If you have a shitty driving record, it's very difficult to get approved. So I strongly suggest you fix your driving record first. Dustin, thank you for doing what you do. Happy to be a customer of both ECH and SC. Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed the course. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm glad to answer them for members as well. Leon asked me and my business partner purchased a 27-in GLS 450 and 27-in HSC. Do you have access to these vehicles? We want to buy ASAP or ship them to China. Leon, yes, I do help with exports, and no, I don't do it on a Q&A here. You're welcome to shoot me an email if you have cash to buy and you're willing to pay margins 14 to 20% above what the MSRP is. We can have a conversation. If not, have a good day. Juan, can you explain the depreciation curve of the S-Class Mercedes-Benz? Absolutely. The S-Class has a few trims, the S550, the S63, the S65, and all of them are complete pieces of shit when it comes to depreciation. The S65 obviously starts at the highest and depreciates the most, but then stabilizes at the highest. The S550 depreciates to the lowest amount at the highest rate as well, at the second highest rate, because it is the highest volume one. And then the S63 is the most desired one and the more affordable cross between the 65 and this 550. And that's where the sweet spot is, finding the right deal on a 3-year-old S63. I think that's where you're going to get the most bang for the buck and still stay relevant to all of the new stuff. And Guest, I guess that's not your real name, but you know, I'm glad that you're enjoying this. Vincent said, what do you think of the current market on the Cayman GT4? I think it's inflated, and I think it's going to blow. I think most of the market for the GT3 RS, the GT4, the 911R, and the 980 are in a bubble. I think they're going to come down at some point. If next year we are having a little bit of an exotic bubble. If we see that going down a little bit, we will see these cars kind of taking a hit. I don't know how much. I don't follow the GT4 market as much. I know the GT3 RS, we could see them well below sticker on used ones. Frederick asks, with 125K budget, which exotic would you purchase that is okay to drive out of town in comfort, or an attention grabber, fast, and has some luxury? I would get into an R8 or into an LP560. I don't think there's any comfort in LP560. I think there's a lot of comfort in the R8. I also personally, I tell you a car I really like that a lot of people don't buy because they're not as flashy. I think they're flashy as hell. They're beautiful. But I really like the S63 Coupe AMG. So I like that car a lot. So I really like the S63 Coupe. You can buy one for about your budget. I think that car is dropping, but I think it's not dropping as hard as people think. I like the AMG GTS as well, like someone else mentioned, and I really enjoy the R8. I actually, on that budget too, just so we're clear, I also really like the Bentley GT newer body 2014 V8S. I like that car a lot. Ripon, do you have any tips for someone who just moved to the US, so new credit and new driving record? Yes, go to betterautorates.com and get your credit fixed a little bit. We can help you build it. That's one of the resources we use at Exotic Car Hacks, and it can help you. Frederick, love the Psycho Bunny shirt. Thank you very much, my friend. I buy 50 of these whenever I can because they're just really comfortable to wear. And most people don't have any ideas, so great conversation starter with people. Javier, I want to get an Aston Martin, but I don't have a lot of money and I want to make money. Any advice on where to begin? Yes, don't buy an Aston Martin if you don't have money. Meaning, don't put yourself in the wrong shoe because you need some savings to do this. You need to be prepared for a situation. I don't want people getting into this program who are completely lost and focused solely on, I want to get a car and the moment something goes wrong, my whole life goes upside down. If you don't have at least $5,000 saved aside, if you're not comfortable having some kind of disposable $500 to $1,000 a month, don't get into this game. You're going to lose. Devin asked, I'm currently upside down by about $7,000 on a car loan. The car, if it matters, the V6 Dodge Challenger, is worth about $22,000. I owe just under $29,000. I'm looking to get out of it, like trading in for one about $13,000 and using the $9,000 left to pay off the loan. I don't want to do this, but for someone looking to get out from under a car loan, what would the best way to be without hurting your credit? So look, money doesn't appear from under a tree. If you're upside down and you made a stupid mistake because you're an idiot when you bought the car, it's okay. Learn the strategies, and then the next car, what you do is you take your loss, you roll over the equity in the other car, and then you make sure the next car, you come out of it with a win. So in other words, what you do, if you're $9,000, let's say you're $7,000 upside down, you take that loss and you get a car at wholesale that has enough upside for you to make at least $5,000. Now, as soon as you buy that car, you immediately resell that car. So you can make your $5,000 and at least just be $2,000 off. Then you start over and you don't make the same stupid mistakes again. Dustin asked, what are the best exotic models that are the best flips to profit in the next 6 months? There's no such thing. It all depends on the deal you can find on the car. So every car can be that great car. Ryan, thanks for the great advice. Accounting question. Are you able to write your exotics off? Yes. You can write off your entire exotic. Consult with your accountant to see if your business allows it or how your business is structured. But I write off 100% of everything that happens to my exotic, including the down payment, any finance amount, any cash amounts, any repairs, any modifications, anything in between, including usage, but not limited to just mileage. Gigi, I am highly skeptical concerning this. Well, sorry to hear that. You know, like they always said, don't scam yourself out of a good life just because you're skeptical. But what exactly is the method of buying these exotics other than cash? Financing is possible. It's going to cost a pretty penny. If you can get, it doesn't cost a pretty penny. You can get loans today up to 84, 96 months, as little as 3 to 4%. So it doesn't cost a pretty penny. Yes, it may cost a monthly fee, but you're only paying yourself back. So you're transferring the money back into your own pocket, paying very minimal interest. And yes, you can get anyone to insure it, not if you can get anyone to insure it. And yes, you're going to have to start somewhere. So if you don't start today, in 5 years, you're going to come back and you're going to tell me, hey, I should have started this then, because then I would have learned, I would have taken, small steps so that I can make sure that now I'm in a position to actually be successful with this. Gigi asks, is there a limit to the type of exotic car? For instance, only Porsche, Viper, Audi, and Lamborghini. No, anything that's exotic can qualify. The question becomes finding the right deal. But you brought up something good for all of you that ask, what is a great flip when it comes to lower end exotics? The 2013, 2014 Dodge Viper GTS is one of the best flips you can have. You can buy a freaking awesome GTS for like 65 to 70 grand. That shit will be worth 65, 70 grand for the next 3 years. So there you go. There's a free car for next 3 years. Tom, first of all, I just recently learned about you and I've watched a few of your videos. You know your stuff and you're awesome. Thanks for sharing it. I don't have much money. Can I use your principles to get a regular car? Yes, you can actually get any car. The difference with the exotics is that there's more margin, so you can flip them for a profit. You can flip for profit cheaper cars too if you can buy them right. My strategies apply to anything you can buy that is on 4 wheels, including 2-wheel motorcycles. The question is, do you understand the strategy or are you just using my kind of list and my exact cars that I go after. So if you understand my strategy, it can be applied to anything. I teach you how to negotiate people down to the bottom of the bottom, take the cars, make some money, and then move on and get rid of them, you know? So I think that everything else is just, it's applicable to everything you do. And guys, again, go to www.exoticcarhacks.com/AMA deal, because the coupon ends as soon as this recording is over in the next 30 minutes. So you only have the next 30 minutes to save $100 if you are going to join us and actually learn how to get in exotic cars, not just talk about it. Frederick, what is your watch website? It is www.watchconspiracy.com, where I teach you to do exactly the same, except actually make a bunch of money doing this with very high-end watches like this rose gold Hublot. You can make a ton of money with watches, and it's very easy to do. It's even easier than cars, and you don't need that much money to start. Only $1,000 bucks. So different strokes for different folks, but if you like watches, if you're a car guy, definitely the place to go. I have access to Manheim, Manuel says, and I just checked out a 2008 Gallardo for $113, but on Manheim and Compare, car showed off $86,000. That is exactly what I'm saying. You see the margin? You're talking about a 30K margin on a really old car because people don't know better. So it depends on the car, it depends on the dealership. I don't comment on price on cars unless you send me a link so I can look at the exact car. Unfortunately, I can't do it while I'm live on one of these AMAs because it means I would have to get out of this AMA. But anyways, Mavs asks, which car would you recommend? Well, and let me answer something, Manuel, real quick. You can ask these things in our Facebook group. We have a community where you can go in and post any car you want, and like 20, 30 people will respond to you with market data and what to buy that car for. Let's see. Mavs asks, which car would you recommend, which is kind of everyday drive with 50, 60 budget? We've already talked about this, the M5, M6s, Quattroportes, Maserati GTs. I would look at all those cars. All the AMGs are also good value. I like the CL65. Wallace asks, I have no money and currently am unemployed. Is there anything I can do? No, go get a job, make some money, and then come back. Ryan, G63. Very popular right now. Do you think you lose money on that buy? I've done this with 3 G63s. I've made money on all 3. Short term, guys, short term, the G63s, because they keep coming up with new models and drives the old models down. It's one of the best folding truck based on color and mileage, not so much year. So if you're buying a 14 and up, and it's the right color and the right miles, you're going to get good money for it. That's all that matters with it. Ripon, you mentioned that GTLs will hold its value. Can you give some more car models of the year will hold the value if you drive 5,000 to 7,000 miles? No, you can drive up to 5,000 miles. Anything above that, you're taking a risk. The other thing is you can do with the GTS, you can do that car. It works. The Viper works. There's a bunch of cars where it kind of flows. The 911 Carrera S, the Vantage V8. They'll all hold if you're getting the right model, especially as I described in the course. Nick, will you honor the discount if I bought the program last week? If you bought it within 14 days, absolutely. I will absolutely honor that discount. No problem at all. Just shoot us an email at info@exoticcarhacks.com. We'll take care of you, brother. Leon, it will be good to buy exotics from the dealer auction to flip, right? No, not really. I hate buying exotics from auctions because you don't get to inspect them. The dealers are crooks. So I don't like buying cars from auctions that I can't inspect and look at personally, or that I don't have a visual on. Rodney Wilson, I have a 2016 F-Type R. I understand it was an impulse buy, makes sense. It will depreciate quickly. Any advice? Yes, get rid of the piece of shit. And actually, it's a great car. It's a lot of fun, especially if it's the coupe. But even if it's not, get rid of the car and get into something better, because that's a very dangerous car. The other day, I think we bought, we were just trading cars for somebody, and I think we bought one somewhere around like 58-ish. So, you know, it's a depreciating car. It's a dangerous car. Jaguars are the worst to own in the newer phases, even if they're the rarest ones, to get rid of them. Dion asks, I own a few supercars already, but I am always looking for one more. Most people talk to think I'm being greedy when I tell them I want more. What should I respond to that? Well, I mean, I don't really care about your friends and if they think you're greedy. I mean, if you own and have money to buy exotic cars, congratulations, brother. Just enjoy them. Who gives a shit what poor people think? Marisa says, I have absolutely no clue about the exotic market. Can you program help me? Yes, we can help you in every way. We break down the market from zero to everything. So there's nothing that is not included in the course that you would need to learn on your own. Juan, where can I find the car volume production? On Google, my friend. Look at how many there are, but look on eBay, look on AutoTrader, look on CarGurus, see how many units are on the market. and look at how many of which colors are on the market. Martin asks, what was your first exotic car? How did you buy it? It was a 911 Turbo. It was a 996 Gambella GT650. I bought it some with cash, some financed. I bought it in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and it was an import from Dubai. It was a really nice car. I loved it to death, and that was the car that actually made me realize I didn't have to lose more money in exotics than I was losing my ass in all these other cars. And then when I did the Gallardo after that, I realized that, hey, holy shit, I can actually make money on these and not actually have to lose. Frederick asks, if I do purchase the MG GTS or something similar, where should I buy aftermarket? Wheels used, yeah, you should always buy, if you're going to modify a car, and you need to modify a car at 20 to 30 cents on the dollar MSRP, meaning that, for example, if there's a $10,000 set of wheels and you can buy it for $2,000 to $3,000, and they're actually something that looks good, you can get away with selling the car for more, for getting your money back. You're not going to make money, you're going to sell your car faster, and especially if you do it right. If you do the exotic, you don't lower it, and you do the wheels, it's going to look like shit, nobody's going to want it. So you got to remember, there's, excuse me, there's opportunities like this for you out there. You just have to learn kind of what to do. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just getting over a cold. So now Ripon asks, I was looking for a Maserati Gran Turismo S, 13 or 14, but you just mentioned that we shouldn't drive more than 5,000 miles, so I guess I'll have to drive less than 5K, because ideally I would like to keep it for 7 to 10 months. That is correct. Yeah, you don't want to put more than that on that. It's especially that car. That car's dropping right now, so keep your eyes out. I really would, I'd like to buy that car somewhere around the low 50s and stay there. Rakesh says, will this work in any country? No, it will not, my friend. It will only work in the US, Canada, and the UK. It has not been tested anywhere else, so I cannot attest to what works or doesn't work elsewhere. Peter, can you tell me what was your worst deal and your best deal today? Best deal today, SL65 Black Series, 1 of 1, produced for Marco Andretti, almost $19,000 made in a month and a half on a quick flip. Misadvertised car, bought it, flipped it, moved it on a trade-in, almost made $19,000. Worst deal today, bought a DB9 Aston Martin. This is why I never recommend the DB9. Biggest piece of shit car I've ever driven. And on top of that, I'm a huge fan of the Aston Martin. That car was the wrong car. And I ate my ass, almost $2,000 a month in loss because the car was completely fucked up when sold by the dealer. So definitely not looking very good in terms of a car to buy. Roberto, how do you cope with envy if you get an exotic and come from a poor family? Well, that's up to you, my friend. Nothing to do with me. You're going to have to learn to deal with criticism. Just make sure you don't park that shit on the street so someone keys it. Then Ryan asks, is there any specific state, city better for buying in? No, not necessarily for buying cars. Cars are located in different places. I try to stay away from buying cars from New York, Jersey area. There's just a lot of crooks out there. I like cars that come from Texas, California, Florida, not Miami, North Florida. And I also like cars a lot that come from Illinois, usually higher quality cars. Tim, how many exotic cars do you currently have or drive? I currently have 3 exotics on hand and 1 on order. I have a Lexus LFA, I have a McLaren 570S, and I have an Aston Martin Vanquish Volante, and I have an NSX on order. And I usually drive everything I can every day except the LFA. So Johnny V asks, hey, Mr. Gadimi, quick question. Do you own other courses on starting business? By the way, love exotic car hacks and always watching. Yes, I have many courses, my friend. I am more known for my business courses and my book, Third Circle Theory, than I am known for exotic car hacks. You can find everything you need to know about me at www.secretentourage.com. Select courses. There's a ton of courses I've created on sales, marketing, business, and Third Circle Theory, my best-selling book. You can also buy my book anywhere books are sold. I've also written 10 other books, but they're not as popular as Third Circle Theory. Leon asks, what state is the best to buy an exotic car to avoid paying so much money in taxes? I'm in California, taxes are 10%. I really like buying cars in Florida, Virginia. I also like buying cars in Nevada and Texas. They have recyclable tax loopholes that I teach in the course. So definitely try to buy in those states, meaning use those states to register your cars. It wasn't an exotic, Jonathan says, but I bought a 2012 Civic Si with 100K miles for 10K with high mileage. I wouldn't get much out of it, but what do you think it could flip and get back money at the loss? I mean, if you can get out of it, get out of it. But I don't understand what I don't know the Civic market to know what those cars are worth. What is your favorite car? If it is an Aston Martin, what year? for this program. So I love the DBS. I think the DBS is the best car for this program. If you can find an 09, 10, 6-speed DBS, you're going to do really well with that car if you can buy it under 110. Do you get them transported, Rashid says. Yes, I transport my cars anywhere, from anywhere to anywhere, enclosed, and we have different resources in the course that can teach you how to do that cheaper. How do you negotiate over the phone for cars across the country, Dustin asks. Very simple. I have a lot of negotiation strategies in the course as well. But the main thing that I do is there's different ways you can negotiate with dealers, also set up inspections in order to be able to help yourself negotiate. In 9 out of 10 times, I buy cars sight unseen, meaning I haven't seen them. Someone puts eyes on them, but I don't. And I negotiate them 100% on email or on the phone. Lucas, do you own a Ferrari? Does it open doors for you? Under what circumstances do you drive it? I have owned 3 Ferraris, a 360, a 430, and a 458 Spider. All were pieces of shit. I hate Ferraris, but the 458 is a nice looking car. I don't think it opens any more doors for you than another exotic does. Yes, exotics do open doors for you. It allows you to get into better circles, and it does make more sense. So I would recommend driving an exotic over a normal car just because of the experience altogether. Marv's asked, which Audi R8 would you recommend and around what price? I'm not big into manual, so it's okay to buy automatic. Only buy automatic if you're buying a 2014 S-Tronic, and you should be paying roughly about $125 for a 2014 V10 Plus S-Tronic with low miles. That's exactly what we teach in the course and one of the best cars to buy at this time. Ripon, I am in Delaware and there's no sales tax. You mentioned about loopholes in Texas. Is there any loopholes for Delaware? Well, if there's no sales tax, then what are you worried about? You're good, right? You're not paying any sales tax. You don't need any other loopholes. Let's see who else. And guys, remember, go to www.exoticcarhacks.com/AMA deal for 100 off currently. Sergio, what's the most fun car to drive? That Huracan was completely crazy. The Huracan was a piece of shit. It wasn't a bad car. It was incredibly good to drive. It's actually one of the best driving cars I've ever owned. My favorite car to drive currently from a fun standpoint is my McLaren 570S, and one of the more interesting cars I've ever owned. And as far as the Huracan, I thought it was a better driving car. Just thought it looked like shit, personal opinion. And as far as actually, best and most enjoyable car for me, it's still my Aston Martin Vanquish. That's why I always own one. Leon, you're very welcome. I'm glad you found value in this. Vincent asked, if it's not a certified pre-owned car, but it's offered for sale at the company's dealership, would you trust their inspection? I never trust a dealer with their own inspection. So always get a third party to look at it. Everybody has a different threshold, meaning a dealer will look at a car and say, listen, we have this problem. Listen, we have this problem where this car, for example, right? They'll tell you something like this. We have this problem where we think that the car has great brakes, but great doesn't mean anything, because when you're looking at it, you're like, fuck, it's got 50% left. I'm going to be stuck paying like $7,000 for brakes. But the dealer's like, well, they're passable. It's great. It passed their inspection. So you never trust a dealer with their inspection. If it's certified pre-owned or not, doesn't matter. Take it somewhere, have it looked at it, because they're not going to cover wear and tear shit, and you need to know what to negotiate down on the car. Rashid says, as far as the car insurance, you have a specific company you deal with. Yes, I share all of them in the course, Rashid. You can actually not be cheap, get the course, learn the concept, and all of them are shared in there. Exotic car hacks, let's see. Vin asks, don't I need a dealer license to buy and sell exotic cars for profit? It depends on your state. In most cases, you can do up to 5 cars without a dealer's license, and trust me, that's plenty if you're doing it the right way. Andres asks, this is all good, but can you give me a cheap Lambo and you'll get ripped off with maintenance? That's my main fear. Lamborghinis are actually some of the cheapest, especially the older Lamborghinis, meaning the 2009 to 2013 LP560 and 550s are some of the cheapest Lamborghinis to maintain. Most of the maintenance can be done from under the car. There's no engine out maintenance for the most part. It's very easy to work on. It's very cheap. Most of the parts are retrofitted from the 04 and up, so you can actually do a lot of hacks like we teach you in there to keep your costs down. I really like those cars from a cost standpoint, so I wouldn't be so focused or lost when it comes to worried about the maintenance on those cars. Buying the cheapest car on the road is probably the wrong look into it. You have to focus on buying the best value. Horn has a weird question mark. I don't know what that means, buddy. CC asks, do you have any selected or preferred dealers or shop? Yes, I have an entire list in the course of preferred shops to use for PPI inspections for repairs, for maintenance, and I also blacklist dealers on the site, so you'll see the dealers not to do business with. Thoughts on the Ferrari 430? Horn asks. Great car to do this with, especially if you can find one for 95 grand. The right 430 for 95 grand, especially a coupe, well inspected with no issue. That's a great car. If you're looking at a 50, 60K car, but in the meantime saying that it will be about 40, 50, what sort of price can you offer the dealers? Is there a bare minimum profit margin the dealers will sell for? No, it's all subjective to each car, so I can't answer that generically. Ramon asks, why are you sharing this? Dealers must hate you. Why don't you keep it to yourself? I mean, there's no need to keep it for myself. The right dealers that are not ripping off people love me because as a result of this, we get more View Exotic cars, they sell more cars, and they move cars they don't want, right? That's the whole goal. On the other hand, dealers who are ripping off people with high margins don't like me, and I would never do business with them anyway. So fuck them, and I don't really care. It doesn't matter what they want or don't want. Again, guys, the link is on top of the screen. If you haven't gotten the course yet, don't pussy out. Get the course, learn the concept. It's backed by a 14-day money-back guarantee, and you have a $100 coupon just today. Let's see. Pedro asked, do you have additional business besides this website? This website is not a business, my friend. I still own VIP Motoring, which can be found at vipmotoring.net. And you can also find my other businesses by going to pejmangadimi.com, and you'll see hidden companies, all the other stuff I have. Ripon asked, for 2013 Maserati GTS, mileage between 15 to 20K, how much would you reckon the price should be? If it's a clean car, my friend, low 50s. Clean car meaning no paintwork, no accident. It's the right car, it's the right place to go. Frederick asked, DBS, R8 V10 or AMG GTS? DBS first, R8 V10 second, AMG GTS third, Vantage V12S next. Kevin, how do you afford the 2K monthly payment starting out? Assuming 80K car, how do you afford 2K monthly payment starting out? Assuming 80K car for 3-4 years. Okay, so 80K car is not 2K a month, just so we're clear. And this is not a business webinar, my friend. You need to figure out where to get your money. And an 80K car will run you about a $900 to a $1,200 payment. Nothing to do with $2,000. So I don't know where that comes from. Johnny asked, did you ever get ripped off with a car, like missing something on the PPI? Yes, many times. I didn't lose a lot many times, but PPIs catch the big stuff. There's still some small stuff that goes between the cracks. I've only bought one car in my life sight unseen with no PPI, and that was the biggest mistake I ever made, which was my Aston DB9. The case studies in there how to not lose $2,000 a month, so you guys can learn from that. Ripon asked, if you were to choose between a Maserati GTS or Audi R8, then what would you choose and why? I would never buy a GTS over an R8. The Maserati is a nice car, but it's a complete piece of shit compared to the R8. The R8 is a much better car, so I highly recommend you guys use it. And if we don't have any other questions, guys, this is going to be the end of it, so make sure you keep asking your questions. I only have about 5 minutes left on this. Richard asked, do you have any good mechanics that you recommend in Delray? I haven't found good ones. Yes, Richard, I actually own, I wouldn't say I own it. I actually know of a great shop that is in the Boca area you should use. You can find it at www.excelauto.sps.com. They do great work on a lot of my exotics as well, and they are a great place to actually use for repairs. R8 or Gallardo, depends on the year, but for the most part, R8 V10, 6-speed manual, better bet over that. Again, the offer is on the screen. If you guys want to take advantage of this, this is, again, a one-time offer for $100 off. Richard, you're very welcome. I'm glad that you are enjoying the knowledge. And guys, I mean, again, take advantage of this before it goes out. After this webinar, the dollar's off. It's back up to $497. We keep adding stuff to this course, so that eventually it will be $900 or so. So go ahead and definitely take advantage of the offer. Do you recommend the extended warranty on the AMG GTS or Audi V10? I don't recommend an extended warranty on any single exotic unless it already comes with one and unless it's a McLaren. So I would definitely not do anything other than that. But that would be the only place that I would kind of look. I would not buy any type of warranty for anything unless it comes with it. And unless if it comes with it and can be extended on a McLaren, great. If it's not on a McLaren, then otherwise I would not do it. Any other questions, guys, before we call it quits? We do this once a week. If you have more questions, you can come back next week, but I try to do as much as I can to try to give you guys as much information as I can. The community we have, again, at Exotic Car Hacks is there to help you do this. If you're going to be buying an exotic car, I have this little thing on the side that says $15,000 in value. Why do I do that? Well, it's simple. If I can save you an average of 15 grand on your next car and you don't think you're cool enough to pay $397, you shouldn't be in an exotic. If you want to take this on your own and you could leave $2,000 to $3,000 in negotiations on the table, great, do it. But then don't come bitching that you're still going to end up buying this anyway. So it doesn't really matter. You're going to pay for it anyways eventually. Lucas asked, can you talk a bit about the Facebook group that comes with the membership? Well, the Facebook group is just a private Facebook group for members only, where people share cars or deals they're finding, and they're able to help each other negotiate better deals by playing the dealers or understanding the data on the cars, especially because a lot of people in the group are great dealers who are helping. They're independent dealers who have access to dealer tools and are helping normal people. Let's see. Marv asked, you just answered some question for the QP. So Maserati refresh model in 2013 for QP. Would you recommend buying the old 2013 model? I would recommend buying it between a 2011 and 2013 QP, any type of QP, S or GTS. Ripon asks, is there any warranty you can take for your exotic, which will be helpful? There is no third-party warranty you can buy anywhere that is helpful, but there is a warranty if it comes with the car that you can negotiate and you should keep with the car, because that's a quality warranty, as long as it comes with the car from the manufacturer, not a third party. Let's see. Dustin says, I'm already a customer, but don't get the car lists and emails. I've heard others mention. You can sign up to those lists separately. It's $15 a month. You can actually go to www.exoticcarhacks.com, click Become an Insider. There's a little link on top of the $497 where you can sign up for just the email list by itself. Ripon asks, is there any warranty you can take for your exotic? No, there's no warranty. We talked about this already. You mentioned Audi R8s are better, so for 50, 60K price, which years? I wouldn't buy a 60K R8, I would buy a 70K R8, and I would look at an 09 6-speed. And then D, you're very welcome. I'm glad I'm able to help you with this. And Dustin, you now know where to go. So I think that pretty much wraps up our Q&A for the night, guys. I want to thank you all for joining me. If you have any other questions, make sure to join us next Wednesday. Shoot us an email, or better yet, don't pussy out. Join us at exoticcarhacks.com/AMA deal and actually start conversing with me in the Facebook group every day, where we can kind of have a really good time and learn how to flip exotic cars together, learn from my case studies, buyer's guides, and everything in between. And make sure to follow me on my YouTube channel at Exotic Car Hacks, because I always put shenanigans and car videos that are pretty funny. So thanks again, guys, for joining us, and we'll catch you guys next time.